by removing this brake line, you're recording?
Yeah.
By removing this brake line first, you're going to allow a little bit more action, a little bit more play in there. Because this line I'm removing is rubber. If you leave it hooked to this piece here, if you leave it hooked to this piece, your upper control arm, when you try to lift your upper control arm, that hose has to lift with it. So then you're putting all that stress up, and we're going to go ahead and take this whole caliper hook to the hose, remove it, set it aside onto the bucket, and that way we won't have that pulling on us or getting in our way. And then we're going to just lift this spindle, leave the upper control arm attached. We're just going to lift this spindle, and don't get me wrong, this thing's heavy, so I mean, if you didn't eat your Wheaties, you need to eat your Wheaties first, because this son of a gun is heavy. We're going to lift this thing up off of that lower spindle. You see, you can't see it because the bucket's in the way. We'll do one step at a time, and then when we get that bucket, you'll be able to move and see the spindle here in a minute. And then we'll show you the lift. We'll just lift this thing right off the spindle. We're going to remove the tie rod end, and then we might try to lift it with the tie rod end attached. But we're definitely going to take off the brake caliper. We might try doing it with that front tie rod still attached. We'll see what happens with that. I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be just fine. But what you're going to need for this here, what size is this? I don't have, let's see, I have my glasses right here. This is I think it's a 1/4 inch. A 1/4 inch Allen wrench that's on a socket head. And what you do, you stick that thing, there's a little Allen wrench head right there. Just turn this out. And all this bolt here, this Allen keeper bolt, all this does is keep that slide in place to hold a retainer, a tensioner, and this holds it all in place. So you got one of those guys. And then, let me see my flathead screwdriver and the hammer. Where's those things at?
To the left is the flathead.
See what about the hammer?
I'll go get it.
Alright, well, if you don't have a hammer, you can always use the side of your wrench. Make sure they're, Craftsman, Snap-on, Cobalt, something that if you bust it, you can take it back and tell them, I don't know what happened to it.
Here it is.
Alright, let me see it. Then, what I usually do, get this out of the way so you can see what I usually do is take the screwdriver and just hook the lip. Just barely hook the lip. And sometimes if you can't get enough swing with your hammer, the whole hammer, sometimes you can turn it sideways like that and hit it, and you can still get enough tap on there like this. You just need just enough tap to get that thing to slide. Just enough so you don't want to damage anything, but you want to be able to, just enough, because it'll be in there tight. Get that to slide out. You can see the tensioner spring here. That's a tension clip that rides on top of here, and we'll show you how it goes back in. But that holds your whole brake caliper in place. Chisel that out. Bam, there you go. Here's the tensioner. And that rides like that. See it saddles in like that. Bam, bam. And then you stick it back in the same way you pulled it out. You stick it in there like that. Stick this in here. Stick that in there. And then you just tap her on in. Get her going just like that. Just like that. And the saddle, that spring action is what holds the pressure to keep that always tight so your brakes don't break. Alright, now that that's removed, we can bring our bucket back over here. Come here, bucket table. Put the bucket table right in your way. There, I don't want it to dump everything. It's not the idea of the bucket table to dump everything. So just hold it so the crap's out of your way. So you're not going to break it. So now here comes the fun part. Now that we got our And on these brake cables, you got a little clip. See this little clip right there? I don't know if you can see me up here. That little clip goes in the screw hole in the slot and then goes down. And that's what helps keep the wrench from getting on the nut properly back there. If you're having trouble getting on that back nut, it's because of that guy. So you got to just hold your wrench there and then turn that back screw until it allows you to line up on it. But now that that's out of the way, then we can have enough slack to wiggle our caliper right on out on the bottom, and then pull it out on the top, and then gently, you want to keep the things from busting your knuckles, and then you can just gently roll things out of your way a little bit. Sit that up on your daggone bucket. That's the idea. Sit that there, and then remove this other brake pad. It's an anti-squeal, anti-vibration pad. And then we have clips on the back of these, so it keeps it nice and tight. So you just pull that out, sit those aside. Here, put the clip back on there. And sit that in there. How it goes. All right, fair enough. That goes there. There. Now we've got everything loose from the hub spindle. Basically, all you can do is try to see if we can lift this off of there now and stick that board up in there. So Amy, you're gonna have to stick your head in here, and I'm gonna have to lift with everything I've got. And if it goes right, let me see if I can get a little slack right there. From that thing, there we go. There we go. That's a lot more slack. Alright. Now, if you're ready, I'm going to try to lift from here and here. And lift it here. And you remember where you're going with it.
Right, between here and here.
Yep, that's right. Ready? 1, 2. Come on. No, I'm going to have to take that. I'm going to have to take that tie rod loose. You just can't get that. You just can't get it at the right angle of the dangle.
Okay, what side is the wrench?
So we're going to need those vice grips to pull the cotter pin loose.
Do you want me to get the red ones so you don't have to climb it out
Yeah,
again?
that'd be awesome.
I saw those needle nose over here.
Yeah, those red needle nose pliers are better for sure. Alright, and I'll need the tie rod end puller. There it is. Oh yeah, there we go. That makes it so much nicer. I'm gonna go ahead and just try to lay down right here. Watch that. When you kick in the face. Get under here. Get this thing out. Oh, your video ain't even gonna be very good till it's now it's bucket man. I'm bucket. And I work on cars in my spare time. They call me the Lowe's bucket.
I don't get it.
Because the camera sees the bucket and not me.
Oh, I can bring it around.
I'm the man behind the bucket.
Should I bring it around?
No, I like being the man behind the bucket. I'm like the guy off of Home Improvement, the guy behind the fence. What's his name, Wilson?
I think so.
I don't know, was it? Or that was the guy off of Castaway.
Yeah, but I think it was Wilson.
Because
he'd say, I don't know, Wilson.
oh, that's right. I think I'm right. I mean, I think you're right that I'm right, that you think that I'm right. You know what I mean. I think we're right. Right on track. Oh, man, come on, baby. Oh, come on. There we go. This one actually came out straighter than all the other ones. Oh, boy, I'll tell you what. Sure did a good job tightening those. Those dadgum, whatchamacallit.
Cotter pin? Is
Oh,
that
boy.
what it is? The cotter pin?
Cotter pin, boy. I sure did a good job putting those stupid things on, I'm telling you. They, stays on there. Let me see if I can get this right size. I'll pull this. But I think it's this one. Yeah, no. It's 3/4. No, it's not. Dadgum. Are all these different sizes? I don't understand that. That one, obviously, I mean, it did it, but it was loose. Now what you should do is, here, give me that 3/4 one and the pitman arm remover. But yeah, no. There's this one, yeah, this one, and then we need the yeah, that deal. But you can bring your camera around this side.
Okay.
And put your head up here, and then you can show them this part of the equation. Well, here, let me get my hand in here. This is how you remove a tie rod end or a pitman arm or whatever. They call these little handy type press. They call that a pitman arm removal tool. And see, it's got a slight little point right there. Some of these deals have little dents in the top of the bolt, and that thing will line up and hold it steady in the center of the bolt so you can tighten it in. But even if you don't, I mean, it's flat enough, you know, it'll stay on there, and you want to gently try to get that around your boots without cutting them. And if you just jam it in there too hard, it might cut them because it's just grease in there. But if you push just steady pressure, you can push the grease out a little bit and then get it in, and then just gently tighten it up with your fingers till she gets on that thing. But if it jumps off the middle of that, you want to stop. You don't want to keep wrenching because then it'll booger the threads up on your tie rod end. And in this case, we're putting this one back on because it's a brand new tie rod end. So if that thing jumps off of there, boys and girls, we're going to have to, it didn't jump off of there. And that there is what you hear when your tie rod end pops loose. Neighbor driving by on the old quad. Now see how freely that thing moves now? Now look, there's our tie rod end. And those things are pretty stiff when you try to wiggle them babies around. So there's our tie rod end. Set that out of the way. Now we got this loose from that pitman arm removal tool. And if you look on this, shine your camera down here, Amy, on this boot. See on that rubber boot right there, folks, right there? Everybody watching, if anybody watches, see that boot? That's a pitman arm tool. Keeps you from boogering up the threads and shaft, and beating it with a hammer, wowing that all out and jam this ball joint up. But we kept it all really good with that pitman arm. Now we can still reuse that thing. And if those parts aren't bad, even if they're not brand new, if they're not bad, you use the right tool, and it saves all these gaskets and boots and things like that, so you're not breaking them the way you use them again. All right, we're going to try to lift this baby up. Baby's going to stick a board in here for me. Okay, mama, set your thing up. Hopefully I don't break my finger and let out a swear word. But with these presses and this pitman arm tool, I'm telling you, it makes the job so much easier to have those couple tools. And they're expensive to rent them too. Don't kid yourself. They were $147 down at O'Reilly's, but you get all that money back. If you bring the tools back, then they give you your money back. So it's basically letting you use them for free, but you put the deposit down onto them. That's what it is. But so we put the deposit down onto them, and I'm glad we did, because man, it sure saves your parts, beating on them and stuff like that. When your front end parts, you just can't beat on them. Just can't beat on them. I mean, your front end's going to beat them enough. Your front end is very demanding, especially on one of these big rigs, especially an old rig. You want all your components to be satisfactory, especially in your steering. And we've been neglecting it. We're going to have to do our shocks next, I think, because this thing's a rally ride. Okay, Did I ever eat my Wheaties this morning? I have bacon and eggs. Amy made me bacon and eggs. Oh man, I did have breakfast this morning. So I think I'll have the energy sufficient to pull this off. This is all cast iron, so it ain't no little thing. Just this hub spindle alone probably weighs over 100 pounds. And then this spindle piece too. I don't know how much, but it's well over 100 pounds altogether, I'll tell you. It's about 101 pounds. All right, are you ready? Now when I do this, don't make me crap my pants on camera. And then the next place we gotta check is these things. Because look how that looks all gummed up and crap building up. But that might just be from grease and then road dirt. Okay, are you ready?
I think so. I hope so. You got the hard part. I'm gonna just try and wedge it in.
Oh man, I almost rubbed that grease right up into my nose hole.
Yeah,
that would have been hilarious for everybody to see on camera.
Don't do that. You're probably put on a glove.
They'd have been like, oh, that's hilarious. He just wiped that damn grease right up into his snot hole. I'd have been like, oh, that's the grossest thing ever. And see, you got these blocks down here that keep, if you're locked up on that thing, you're trying to lift up on it, you're not going to be able to. So make sure you're clear on the back of things so you're not going to hook up on anything on the back. And the only thing holding this big bad thing on now is your upper ball joint and your lower ball joint. The lower ball joint we've already taken loose. The reason we're taking these out because they got slop in them. The bottom of the taper is the right size, the large end. But on the small end of the taper, it's smaller than the ones that we had on it originally for the spindles. So the spindle, it wobbles on the spindle like so. It just clunk back and forth. And you can't have that in a spindle. Has to be tight. I mean, we tried to drive it was worse than before. Whew, okay, enough talking, time to lift. All right, baby, ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Ah, oh, good boy. Oh, can you get it? Oh, man. It's too long, huh? It's too long, isn't it? Hurry, go cut it on the saw. Oh, man, Amy, I thought you cut it down. Oh, shoot. Oh. Cut it by an inch and a half. Don't chop a finger off. Goodness sakes, I think that separated one of my ribs. But it beats, even though, I mean, you guys are probably thinking, good Lord, there's got to be an easier way. Yeah, well, it beats lifting this thing to break it loose from this, to break it loose from that upper ball joint, and just have that thing off free wheelie in your lap, coming out. Yeah, that's a ball buster. And then trying to hold this sucker and then lift it back up in there and then to try to get that thing lined up without any support at all, that's a finger buster right there. So the best way to do this is just like this. But if our board was the correct size, I think we would have had it first shot. But I think we're good to try it again. Are you ready?
Let's give it a try.
Oh no, I think I might have separated a little bit of rib ski on that last one. I don't know it. If I did, I'm going to know it right now.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Be so careful.
I know it. Lord Jesus, don't let me break anything that's important. All right, you ready?
I think so.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Get her in there quick. You got her?
Try that. Is that tight? Does it look right?
No, it feels like it's going to kick out on the bottom. Is it?
I don't know.
Move. It seems to be holding it.
Careful, careful.
Good. It's holding it. Now, flathead screwdriver. Let's pop this thing out. Now, people, do not leave things like this. If you are watching this and you're going, man, that seems sketchy, it is. But Hillbilly Workshop, things hold because of the strength of Jesus, who in all things he strengthens me.
Okay, here's the press for that ball joint.
First off, we must remove the boot. You have to remove the oil seal boot.
Okay.
Since we're returning these back as a did not fit defective, then we want to do the best job we can to keep them in good shape. And probably won't use them, but maybe if an employee sees, you know, hey, that they're still good ball joints, but they were just brought back because of their wrong size. And if the stuff is still in good shape, maybe an employee can clean those out. You know, I'm not saying get in the garbage can or whatever, guys, but I mean, you're saying that, you know, if you can get a good part that's still good, why not use it? But it'll probably end up in the garbage. And we're going to keep these parts as clean as we can and return them in the best shape that we can anyway. Then the way this thing works is you get a little sleeve and you set a little sleeve, Steve, on top. Okay, center your ball joint up a little bit, center it up, make it halfway straight if you can. Make it line up straight. Then, what you want to do, which one is that? Is that the bottom one? Then you put the cap onto it. And what this cap does, these different ridges center up on different sleeves. Each sleeve centers on a different ridge. So you can use this top to center on those sleeves and it centers it up immediately. And you have a spot for your shaft to go through there. So you sit that down in there, it centers right up on that sleeve. And then what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and take this, which is a bearing press, and we're going to stick it right over the top of the nut. And then it actually goes and over the other little ridge on the back side of that. And then what we're going to do is take the big sleeve, Steve, and put it on the bottom down here. Now wait a minute, if I remember correctly, on this one we're not going to be able to put this top piece on because it's not going to fit, it's not big enough. But you put big sleeve Steve on the bottom because that's bigger than the whole ball joint altogether. So the ball joint's going to slide down into that, out of there, into this thing. This is going to press up against this control arm and give it something to push against. And then when I tighten that press, it's going to press that piece here, press this sleeve to press that against this and into that. And that's how we're going to remove the ball joint. So, big sleeve, Steve. I think that one. No, it's this one. That one goes like that. Okay, big sleeve Steve. Goes over here, centers up. Right there. Put your sleeve on, otherwise this stuff won't fit. You gotta stack it in there one thing at a time. Once you get that in there, then you slide that spacer sleeve deal in there. And then you tighten that up with your other hand. You may play to be an octopus and have about 8 arms.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you can maybe line it up. Because see, now look what happened this top one. Got jiggity jake. Because he's down here on the bottom trying to get that lined up. But now we got that lined up, we got this lined up. Now I think it's going to start acting like it with the. Maybe it should. It seems like it's tilting for some reason. It's tilting like Paris Hilton. There we go. There we go. Now it's lined up. If it's not straight, you go to try to get that thing out. And it won't work. Then, with that like that, you can see when we screw this thing in here, well, if that turns, It'll eventually get over there to the edge and stop, I guess. No, it's going to try to kick my thing out. Alright, fine. And then you loosen it. And then you go ahead and slide that where it wants to go anyway. And then you recenter it a tiny bit. Alright, now. Then, everybody happy there? Cool. Everybody happy, scappy? Cool. Then, start tightening it up. Tightening it down. And then when you put this thing up, it's going to start pushing that thing down. And you'll start being able to see it move. If I don't run out of juice. Just gotta. If you had an impact or something, you could do it, but pretty much these ones you have to have a wrench. And just try to unscrew this straight and as good as you can. It looks like it's pressing out crooked. I hope it doesn't ruin our control arm. I think this one pressed in crooked. And there she goes. So you don't have to work all day on it, but and then you just unscrew this down enough so you can start sliding some parts out. And then unstack it. Okay. There we go. Here it comes. Then press, take the parts, put them over here. Mr. Sleevey Steve's. And there's your ball joint. And relatively unhard, and that way you can get them in, you can get them out, you can inspect them, you can replace them, but ours was fitting down here on this. You can see where it fit because it was like wearing. You see a little shiny spot where it had good contact. But look at all the grease up here in the top. That means there was no contact. Up here, this should be shiny. Everywhere that thing was in contact with metal on metal, it should have been shiny, not greasy. So, and that thing was wobbling around, and I mic'd them out, and the ones that were on before were thicker here on this shoulder than these ones. These are 20 or 40 thousandths. I think it was 40 thousandths of an inch. Thinner, maybe it was 20 thousandths.
All right, good job. You got them all.
Got them out.
Now it's time to go get the right ones.
Hopefully we can get the right ones and get them to fit in. Hopefully we didn't damage up our A-arm with this trying to put the wrong ones in. But we're going to clean them up, take them back, get them new ones. See what we can do to find the ones that'll fit.
Okay, good deal. So we'll record when we press them in.
Been blimping with blimping. And blimping with Jesus.
Yes.
You guys have been blimping with me, and I'm blimping with Jesus, so essentially y'all are blimping with Jesus too. Oh,
sorry.
What happened to my cameraman? First day on the job. Okay. Well, there will be trials and tribulations. All right, well, we're going to keep working on it. We're going to get this thing going. It's like the Blues Brothers. We're on a mission from God. Going to get Amy back to Oregon so she can visit her mom, who's got pretty bad cancer up into her spine and her breast cancer spread. I need to get back there so we can visit her.
Pray for us.
Yep. Pray for us so we don't fly off the road. We've got these new parts up here, so that'll keep us from shaking off the road. I pray my work to be worthy, and we can get this going and be on the road, and you'll see us on the road with a new update, maybe a live feed sometime very soon. Very soon, I hope.
Okay, over and out. God bless. Over and out.
Over and out. Okay. Where's that bolt?